have a very special subject to explore today, and that is the subject of one can hardly find the word. The word God is commonly used. We could use that word. But can any word really denote the reality we mean to invoke? Is there any word that would suffice? There are many sacred names, and the mention of those divine names bless our lips whenever we speak them. And yet we always know that however much we might seek to remember the one and glorify the one, only the one encompasses the glory of the one. But we try, because it's the greatest joy that we have in our lives. The joy that comes with reaching beyond our own narrow boundaries and inclining toward that which is unutterably vast and deep and limitlessly true. So we try, and we have conversations which are like the colloquies of sightless ones, feeling with our hands the contours of something which we can feel part of, but never can we feel the whole of it. And others feel another part and describe it. But somehow, as we all describe what we sense, we are inspired with the idea of a reality that both appears to our senses and utterly transcends them, appears to our inner faculties of knowing, and at the same time remains always beyond them. And sometimes, in our most rapturous moments of discovery and remembrance and glorification, we suspect it isn't we ourselves who are perceiving something of the infinite, but rather it is the infinite itself revealing itself. The one has revealed all of this, all that we know as home. This Milky Way, this planet Earth, this sky and land and sea. This is all the theater of the manifestation of the friend. And the fingerprints of the Creator are gloriously all over everything here. But it isn't that the Creator simply created this world and then cast it forth. The prophetic message tells us that the Creator remains totally attentive to creation moment by moment in each and every place, without exception, in this universe and every imaginable universe. And we read in the Quran Sharif, in Surah Al-An'am, God knows what is in land and sea. Not a leaf falls, but God knows it. Not a grain in the earth's shadows. Not a thing, fresh or withered, but it is in a book manifest. Whatever happens under sunlight or moonlight or in the shadows, it's all contained in the book of books, the mother of the books, nature herself. That scripture in which every river and every hill and every cloud is a verse calling us to the remembrance of the One. Not a leaf falls, but God knows it. There is a philosophical question that has often been asked. If a tree falls in the forest and there is no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? For decades, philosophers have been debating the question. But there's no need to debate it. Because it isn't only we human beings who are sentient. The trees themselves are sentient. One of them falls, the others hear it. If the tree is indeed in a forest, its fall will be heard by the innumerable creatures that live within the tree, and heard by the innumerable creatures that live underground, and heard by the trees themselves. It will be heard. And too many trees are falling, and that sound reverberates through too many forests. And even if it weren't that the other trees were listening, and even if it weren't that the insects were listening, and even if it weren't that the mice were listening, there is one who everywhere and always is listening. not only when a tree falls in the forest, when a single leaf from the tree falls, when a grain of sand rolls down a dune in a Sahara of millions of dunes, of billions of grains of sand, there's one who hears every little grain falling down the dune and knows its course, and hears every single grain, and hears every single wave in every ocean. And in the frigid mountain fastnesses, when a cloud rolls into the rocky peak and dispenses its rain, and that rain tumbles down and soaks the rocks, there is one who is watching, who witnesses every raindrop. And when a seabird eats a piece of plastic in the middle of the Atlantic and perches on a rock to painfully try to digest, it isn't alone on that rock. There is one watching over, one who created that bird in the sheerest love, the one whose love molded the beak of that bird and sculpted its talons and smoothed its feathers. The same one who made the beings who made that piece of plastic. The one who watches everything and loves everything. The Creator didn't only create nature. The gaze of the Creator pervades nature as a glance of perpetual cherishing. And nature cannot be heedless of the love that is its source and goal. It was made by this love. It lives in it. It is sustained by it, and it feels it, and it knows it, and it answers. Love with love. The creatures glorify the Creator. It's in their deepest instincts. It's what they are for. So in Surah Al-Isra, we read, "The seven heavens and the earth and whosoever is in them extol God. Nothing is that does not proclaim God's praise. But you do not understand their extolling." How many different methods of prayer are to be found among the innumerable species of the earth, though their number is decreasing. Each has its way. The message has been given to every species. And each has its peculiar method of rendering worship to the infinite. We don't understand. We can't recognize these prostrations, these acts of sacred remembrance and glorification, but all around us. When the birds sing in the morning, they're praising their Creator. And when they fly in the air, they know what lifts them. They know what holds them. And they trust in it. And they glide in that trust so elegantly from branch to branch, only because of their faith. All of the animals and all of the plants and all of the stones are praising the passage of the seasons, the turning of the earth, the migrations of fish, all answering an ancient call, all moving toward the one, knowing in their bones, knowing in their xylem that they were made by the same one who has made us all. We all live for that one, and we are here to witness what is forever. We read in the book of Job, just ask the animals and they will teach you. Ask the birds of the sky and they will tell you. Speak to the earth and it will instruct you. Let the fish in the sea speak to you. For the life of every living thing is in God's hand, and the breath of every human being. The animals know this, not only the angels. The angels know it, the animals know it too, as well as the angels. They know. Ask them. Let them be your teacher. They have something to teach. Their deepest instinct is their reliance on the one. It sets them in motion and it brings them to rest. And it moves their breath and it animates their calls. They swim in it, they fly in it, they burrow in it. It's their joy. It's their ecstasy. And it's the very source of our own breath. So how do we find God when we feel ourselves cut off and exiled? Read the book. Read the mother of the book. When you witness in seclusion dew dripping from the frond of a fern, you're not alone in witnessing it. Your own act of witness attends to the divine witness that cherishes every inch of creation, while every creature answers back with its hosannas. Why have we forgotten? Nature is with a single voice composed of innumerable voices. Nature is urging us, remember, join in this chorus. We are all here for the same one. And therefore we are deeply kindred.